Hello everyone, welcome back to another review, and let's talk about Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. This, to me, is an important Friday the 13th movie because it is the one that gave us Kane Hodder as Jason, and also, to me, this is probably the last great Friday the 13th movie of the original cycle. Because not counting Freddy vs. Jason, there is a good long period of time where these movies just go in quality. I mean, you could debate that they were to begin with, but unless you're like a true fan of the Friday the 13th series, they dip bad. But let's talk about Friday Part 7, which is my second favorite Friday the 13th movie of all time, next Part 6. I love Part 7. I love the whole concept of Jason versus Carrie. That's intriguing to me, because you have someone, that can match Jason and that could stand up to Jason and fight Jason. The character of Tina. I like the character of Tina. I like that she's someone who doesn't. I like how she's someone who doesn't understand her powers and what she's capable of doing. And I like and I like the Doctor, played by Terry Kaiser, Dr. Cruz, Bad News Cruz, who is pretty much doing whatever he can to instigate Tina to do this power that she has, simply because he's fascinated by her and he wants to exploit her. So I like all that. I like all that character stuff between Tina. And I also like the fact that she's haunted by the death of her father, because in her mind, she feels responsible for his death, as shown in the prologue, where she lets a bridge collapse and he falls to his doom in the lake. So to me, all that was really well done. Really well done, and it's one of the strong points of the movie to me. I also think that the budding romance she has with this Nick character, it's okay. They don't really have the world's best chemistry. They do seem really forced, but I think both actors try their best to make it work, so I can't hate on it too much. There's actually a lot of characters in the movie that I like. There's this character who's like a geek character played by Jeff Bennett, and I always thought he was funny. He actually has one of my favorite lines in this whole movie where he gets denied sex and he's like, "I got a date with a soap on a rope." I always found that line to be hilarious. And then you got some other characters too. The kills in this movie. This is where Jason gets real creative with some of these kills. There's one scene he kills a guy with a weed whacker. There's the famous sleeping bag death. Now, speaking of the kills, this will also segue into Jason and how I feel about Kane Hodder as Jason. Now, Kane Hodder is my #1 favorite actor to ever play Jason. This movie was the first time where Jason actually felt like a character, where he actually showed some emotions, and that emotion is just pissed off rage. There's a lot of scenes where Jason just looks like he's fucking miserable, grumpy, and just wants to kill you. And that's all through Kane Hodder's body language. I love it. This is another reason why Kane Hodder stands out to me as Jason, because he gives him distinct characteristics that follow through for Kane Hodder's next 3 portrayals as the character. But to me, Part 7 is where it was done best, and then when it was done right. I especially I love the whole look of Jason. Like, John Carpenter directed this movie and did some of the makeup effects, and he did a phenomenal job at giving Jason that the definitive, distinct look. His clothes are all ragged and torn. His the mask is nearly broken. His spine is sticking out. He looks decaying as all hell, and I love the look. This movie shows all the damage from Jason's first appearance in Part 2 all the way up to now, and I love it for that. That's a small, that small continuity detail that's being done right, and I have no other praise to give it, because whatever's been said about the look has been said about the look. The look is phenomenal. It really is the definitive Jason look, and it's a damn shame that it didn't follow through for the rest of the series, because Jason will never look as good as this. And I also like the way he looks, where at the end of the movie, where his mask breaks, and you see that mongoloid deformed face, but you also see like a piece of his skull sticking out. And this is another where Kane Hodder's acting as Jason just gets great, because there's a scene where he falls into the cellar, and he's like, after being choked, after being hung again, and when he rips that cord off his neck, he has this intense look of rage, as if he's not just pissed off, he's ready to fucking name you because you just pissed him off. And again, I attribute all that to Kane Hodder's acting. He can never be topped, in my opinion, as Jason. No matter how many good portrayals there have been before him and been after him, to me, he is the quintessential. And I know for a fact that if he had his way, he'd be playing Jason right now. Now the ending of this movie is nothing to be desired about. Pretty much, Jason's whole resurrection is that Tina brought him back to life by mistake, as she was trying to resurrect her father. Instead, Jason was resurrected by mistake. And the whole climax is Tina, getting it right this time and resurrecting her dad, and he has the final kill shot, and the ending sucks. Now, if you're gonna since they went with the ending they went for, which is Tina's dad coming up from the lake and dragging Jason underneath, and I saw the original makeup for what Tina's father was supposed to look like, and it had a cool deformed look to it, and that would have made sense. Instead, they went with a guy with just straight black makeup, and it looks like shit. I mean, really? That is so underwhelming. At least having her father looked, and there's actual footage, and there's actually like raw footage of him with the makeup and everything, with the initial makeup that they were supposed to use, but it was excised because of backstage politics, of course. So yeah, the ending to me felt very underwhelming, but it does not take away from the rest of this movie. This is a very entertaining movie. This gave us the best Jason. It's got some cool kills. It's got some fun characters. I like the character of Tina the best out of all of them. And I like the rivalry that developed between her and Jason. To me, this was well done. And John Carl Biegel did a great job with directing. He created a good atmosphere. This movie's paced very briskly. It doesn't slow down for a beat. I mean, yeah, a lot of the middle stuff is very filler, but once you get to the end and the last like pretty much half hour, that's where this movie kicks into high gear, and it's just a roller coaster of awesomeness. And a lot of really good Jason moments as well. So yeah, at the end of the day, I'm going to give Friday Part 7 a solid 8 out of 10. This is a damn good movie and a very solid follow-up to Jason Lives. Anyway, I am A2 Legend. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.